The Kansas City Chiefs. So we're taking a break. We're doing the Super Bowl thing today. Our Chromebooks are closed, right? Our phones are off and put away. We've got a pencil out. We've got this packet out in front of us. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles will face off in Super Bowl 57 on Sunday, February 12th. That's this Sunday. So this is the first Super Bowl in history with two brothers competing against each other. Jason and Travis. Is it Kelsey? Kelsey? I don't know. Did you know Kansas City played in the first Super Bowl in 1967? They lost to Green Bay that year. They made it again 3 years later and defeated the Vikings. In 2020, they broke their 50-year Super Bowl appearance streak and defeated the San Francisco 49ers in Super Bowl 54. In 2021, they returned to the Super Bowl and lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Eagles also have a long Super Bowl history. Their first appearance was in 1981, and they lost to the Raiders. In 2005, they narrowly lost to the Patriots in Super Bowl 39. In 2018, they had their first Super Bowl victory against the Patriots. What a sweet redemption 13 years later. Each team played 17 regular season games. So the dot plots below represent their points scored in each game. So this means they scored 17 points, 20 points, 20 points, 24 points, 24 points, 26 points. Do you see what these are representing? There's 17 games. So we have the Chiefs and the Eagles, dot plots for that. So don't freak out when you see a dot plot. Just say, okay, let's see what this is representing, right? You'll see a lot of these, especially on standardized testing, and that is because they're the most real life things that we see, most common as far as math goes, right? Charts and graphs and things of that nature. All right. So, part 1, Super Bowl standings. We have to figure out how many total Super Bowl appearances they had. We have to figure out how many times they won. We have to write it as a ratio of wins to the total. So as a fraction, we're going to change that fraction to a decimal and that to a percent. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through the Chiefs essentially on all of these things, and you are going to have to complete it for the Eagles. Okay, so in order to figure out their Super Bowl standings, I have to go back to the paragraph and read about them. And if we're looking at the Chiefs, we're looking at Kansas City. So did you know Kansas City played in the first Super Bowl in 1967? So here is their first Super Bowl. They lost to Green Bay. I'm going to underline this and just number it a 1 so I don't have to come back and really count. They made it again 3 years later. So here's the next game they played in the Super Bowl. They defeated the Vikings. So this was Super Bowl appearance 2, right? They broke their 50-year Super Bowl appearance streak, and this is their third Super Bowl they played in. They defeated the San Francisco 49ers. So this is Super Bowl appearance 3. And in 2021, they returned to the Super Bowl, and this time they lost to Tampa Bay. So this is Super Bowl appearance 4. So how many total Super Bowls did they go to? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So here we're going to write 4. How many of these did they win? So they lost, they defeated. So there's 1 win and there's 2 wins. So they won 2 times. If we're writing this as a ratio of wins to total, we're writing it as wins to total. Could you simplify this fraction? Yes, they share a common factor, so we could divide them both by what? What is 2 divided by 2? 1, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. So 1/2 as a decimal, if you didn't know, We could change it to tenths by multiplying the top and bottom by 5 and write it that way. Or in your calculator, you could write 1 divided by 2, because that's what our fraction bar means, is divided by. We would read it from top to bottom. And then here is our decimal, 5/10, right? Now remember, to change to a percent, we would multiply by 100. When we multiply by 100, we move our decimal place over 2 places. So we would say 1, 2. Now our decimal is after the 0, and we add a percent sign. 50% or 50 per 100. All right, so when I let you go on your own, you are going to try out and do the same thing with the Eagles. All right, I want to get you through some of this regular season data. It says record each team's regular season scores below. So we have to use the dot plot. We're going to write them from least to greatest, because I see we want to find things like the median and the range. So if we have them in order, we won't have to put them in order again. So we're very methodically going to read from the Chiefs here. So we have 17 and 2 20s. So that's what I'm writing here. 17, 20, 20. You see what we're doing here? Then what do these two dots represent? What's 1 before 25? 24. So I have 2 24s. 24. 24. Does this make sense where I'm getting these from? I'm not pulling them out of nowhere, right? They're coming straight from the dot plot. Now I have 126 and 1, 2, 3 27s. So 26, 27, 27, 27. And then I have 3 30s and 1 31. So make sure you write all of them and 1 31. 30. After 31, we have a 34 and a 41. And there's 2 more left, so I should have 2 dots left, and they're both at 44. So both of these are 44. So later on, I'm going to have you record the Eagles from the dot plot, but right now I want you focused with me so that we can walk through what all these things mean. So I want you to see, oh, it won't let me open the hey diddle diddle diddle. Let's see if I can share it from here. That's what I'm wondering. My hey diddle diddle riddle should be coming up. There it is. All right. So remember, hey diddle diddle, the median's the middle. So on your sheet where it says median, let's write middle. See where it says median here? We're going to write middle number or middle hashtag. So we would look to the middle. So this riddle gives us directions. It says put the numbers in order from least to greatest, which we did that in our chart here, and then find the middle number. Now what's nice is we have an odd number in both of these, so there is going to be a middle number. Hey diddle diddle, the median's the middle. You add and divide for the mean. So here, for the mean, we're going to write add and divide. Typically, we would divide by the number there are. So we said that dot plot was for how many games? Do you remember? 17. So we're going to add these all up and divide by 17 to get our mean. diddle diddle, the median's the middle. You add and divide for the mean. The mode is the one that occurs the most. So this occurs the most. Which one of these occurred the most? And as you can see, there might be more than one. All right, and finally, hey diddle diddle, the median's the middle. You add and divide for the mean. The mode is the one that occurs the most, and the range is the difference between. So for range, we have greatest minus our least. So I would probably suggest you grab a calculator, because the first one that we have to do here is to find the mean. So we have to add all these up and then divide by 17. Then we have to find the middle number and the one that occurs the most, and then our range. So let's do that real quick. So we're going to add all these up. If you don't have a calculator, make sure you get one. Practice with me. We practice math to learn math. We don't just sit and watch. 17 plus. Sorry, I won't say these out loud because I know some of you are ahead of me and I don't want to confuse you. But I'm going to put in all of these numbers into my calculator, as you should be putting them into your calculator right now, right? Get up and get a calculator. All right, be sure you put equals first before you divide by 17. So you have to add them all up first. Otherwise, it would divide your 44 by 17 and then add all the numbers next to them. So you should have gotten 766. Is that what you guys got? No? Did I do something wrong? And then divide by 17. That is not right. Yeah. That's not reasonable, right? So I obviously did something wrong. So I would be like, all right, we're going back. Somebody watch me carefully. Plus 24 plus 24 plus 26 plus 27 plus 27 plus 27 plus 30. That sounds more reasonable, right? Plus 30 plus 30 plus 31 plus 34 plus 41 plus 44 plus 44. What? This seems more reasonable, right? 496. Now I'm going to divide by 17. 29. So I would just probably round to the nearest point. My 10th is only 1, so I would keep it at 29. That seems reasonable, right? That's between 17 and 44. Obviously, if you get an average that's bigger than your greatest number, that makes no sense. All right, how do we find the middle number? I would probably use my finger rule and keep jumping back, 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 keep jumping back. And now look at my middle. There it is. All right. Which number occurs the most? Good. I have 3 of each of these. So we have 2 modes, 27 and 30. Hey diddle diddle, the median's the middle. We add and divide for the mean. The mode is the one that occurs the most, and the range is the difference between. So 44 minus 17. What'd you get? 27. All right, do you see what you're going to do? Now, what if they all occur once? Do we have a mode then? There is no mode. If they all occurred twice, there would be no mode, right? So sometimes we have no mode, sometimes we have more than one mode, or we might just have one. What if we had an even number of games? So what if there were 18 games? We would have to find the average, the mean of those two middle numbers. I don't know what's going on, guys, but it needs to stop. The Chiefs won 14 of their regular season games. Oh, sorry. You need to decide what a typical score is for the Chiefs. So looking at this, like, would you say 29, 27, somewhere in between there? Which one of these would you say would represent that? So pick a number that you think represents a typical number. The Chiefs won 14 of their regular season games. Well, if they won 14, ratio of wins to losses, how many did they lose? 3, because they played 17, right? So ratio of wins to total, how many did they do total? 17. And so this is what we're going to use to figure out our percent. So if we wrote this ratio as a fraction, this really means 14 divided by 17. So that's what I would put into my calculator. 14 divided by 17 equals 0.82352. All right, so now this is my decimal. With my decimal, 0.8235, on and on. I have to move this 2 places because I have to multiply by 100. Looking at my tenth, do I need to include any, do I need to round up? My tenth is less than 5, so I'm going to keep it at 82%. It's fair to say that the percent of their games won was 82%. Okay, so now you're going to do the same thing for the Eagles, but first I do want you to look at what a frequency table is. When I fill out this Chiefs, I'm wanting to know how many times they score in this range. So if I look at our dot plot, that's probably the easiest. If I look at our dot plot, how many times did the Chiefs score between 0 and 10 points? Not at all, right? So 0. How many times did they score between 11 and 20? So 1, 2, 3 times. Do you see how you would fill this out? And now I would probably just label these by ones. I don't know. You might have more for the Eagles in certain areas, but I think you can get away with saying this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if they were at 0, I wouldn't do anything here. If they were at 3, I would go up and fill in 3 of these rectangles. Okay. Do you want to look at how I would finish the Chiefs frequency, or you think you're good? I'll walk you through a little bit more of the frequency. So how many times between 21 and 30? Remember, that one includes 30, but not 20. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So here at the 21 to 30, I would go 9 blocks up. And shade that in. (31 to 40), 1, 2. So I would go 2 blocks up. 40, 1 to 50, 1, 2, 3. And then 0 again, right? All right. So you've got lots of time, but you got to stay focused and get this finished up. Okay, so be sure your name's on it. Be sure you're going through and answering questions. So here, we skipped part 5 a little bit, but here, who do you think will win? So here you want to use their typical scores. Which one's going to win? And here, who do you want to win? This is really just your opinion, right? All right. Do your best. Make sure you get this turned in before you leave. Work, work, work. It's really quick, but you got to actually do it, right?